Today's video is brought to you by our friends over at ExpressVPN. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to data security and privacy on the internet, a VPN service is one of many tools in your arsenal that you should have. And in my arsenal, I use ExpressVPN. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to data privacy and security, trying to have no logs is very important. And with ExpressVPN's ability to make sure that all the servers they have are RAM-based instead of sitting caches on a sitting hard drive after you seem to disconnect, and with every server reboot, that entire cache in history is cleared. And when it comes to keeping my location completely secure and my IP secure, I love to use ExpressVPN's many list of servers to pick where I'm connecting in from and hide my traffic from the internet. And when it comes to public Wi-Fi networks, it's absolutely imperative that you do bring a VPN just so you can obfuscate and encrypt your traffic from the various other people that surround you. And that also includes people who want to steal your credit card details, account logins, possibly your cryptocurrency accounts even. If you're somebody that values your privacy or security, it's imperative that you do get a VPN service. And in this case, you should check out expressvpn.com/SOG for an extra 3 months of their service, all for free. That said, let's get to the video. Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and before we start this video today, I'm going to be really serious, no jokes, no starting off with my native language, no haha, no ifunny watermark. I'm here to talk about cool stuff on the internet and fun things that happen from time to time. Today's video involves secret intelligence leaks of the highest orders from the US government. We're talking the Pentagon, you know what, baby. Now, you probably heard about this, but the reason I'm prefacing this is I'm here to talk about stuff and I'm here to not leak any information. This is going to be the one video out of my entire career where if I don't blur things the right way, it's not just the community guideline strike I'm worried about, the copyright strike I'm worried about. It's the bag over my head, waterboarding that I'm going to be worried about, because today we're going to be talking about, again, leaked Pentagon files, and files that I'm looking at right now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today's video, if you haven't been kind of, reading up on what's been going on in the last few days, there's been probably one of the biggest national intelligence leaks that's been happening around. Now, in the last 12 hours, there's been an alleged, person who's been arrested. We'll get to that in a little bit. But I want to start this off with the story. Now, of course, we're going to have to wind back a few days ago. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, there's a small channel here, not really that small, 247,000 subscribers, known as Wow Mao, who's a big fan of Smosh games and Toby games. Now, of course, if you look at his channel, okay, he'll make some videos that are kind of related to geopolitics. So you got like, imagine if China conquered Japan, and welcome to Florida. This is a video about chill presidents. So they're a few minutes long. They're memes, okay? They have a lot of effort put into them, and it is what it is. Now, of course, one of the most recent videos 3 days ago was private NATO documents were leaked on my Discord. And of course, in this video, Wow Mao basically discusses what effectively happens.
On the 1st of March, a mod on my Discord server shared 30 plus leaked documents concerning the Russia-Ukraine war. And 1 month later, my name is showing up on news sites such as Forbes, The Telegraph, and The Washington Post. I won't name who this moderator is, since they're probably getting a lot of shit right now, and you don't need me to tell you how bad it is to leak secret war documents. I completely denounce this.
He runs a Discord server where somebody had jumped in and started actually publishing leaked documentation. Now, of course, if you look over here, he has an active Discord server, which if you do go to his actual Discord server, you'll notice that, oh damn, the Wow Mao zone is actually closed. For instance, right now, rules. All right, forget the rules for a minute. At the moment, you are only able to view the announcements and voice channels. This will remain in place for the foreseeable future within 1 week. Do not ask when it will be returned to normal. If you want to skip the wait, you can sub to Wow Mao on Patreon and join immediately. Now, I haven't subbed to his Patreon, but of course, this is under lock and key because anybody that's on this entire Discord server is actually on a watch list. No joke, even Wow Mao believes that they're actually on a watch list too. The CIA may have put me on their watch list, but I should be on yours too. Yeah, nothing like taking a fucking shit situation and trying to turn it around for the better. Now, of course, there was a bit of an investigation going on into it. People were wondering how this information got leaked and where. So again, we have to go just a little bit further back to 4chan. Now, one of the users over here, and again, I'm going to blur this one out completely, was under the idea of DQ blah, 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 blah. Now, this one ID, and again, I'm only blacking it out and blanking it out, blanking things out here, because again, you know, while I'm sure some people will want to report on this entirely, I don't want to give even the most breadcrumbs, because again, I don't want to make an enemy out of the US government, okay? I don't want to have the fucking bag put over my head and be killed. But of course, immediately what was wild is at some point in time, they were actually uploading, again, leaked military documentations. Now, of course, some of the actual users over here were saying, delete this now, please. We will be able to find you from the crease pattern. What do they mean by this? Well, as they were leaking maps and private information. So for instance, this, while I'm completely blurring it out so you can't make heads or tails of what I'm seeing, is actual leaked map information that's actually going over the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So, of course, this is private information, and the reason why it's top secret is you can't see this, but I can see that it's been designated as top secret, and it's given some of the highest, sort of restrictions imaginable. So one of the designations that more is publicly known as FISA, but one of the, sort of red flags that triggered everyone was the one known as No Foreign, which stands for No Foreign National, meaning that it's so top secret that I believe it's really relegated more for like nuclear propulsion documentation, things that, again, foreign nationals, like me, being a Canadian, am not supposed to see. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this was one thing that for those who were in the military, for those who were looking over these documents, this was one of the big red flags that kind of led more to its legitimacy. Now, the documentation isn't anything terribly special as far as I'm considering, because it's mostly related to, again, the war that's ongoing between Russia and the Ukraine, and a lot of it comes out to, of course, battle analysis of like the PMCs that are working over there, and generally just a closer look at the actual battlegrounds that are happening right now. Now, again, this also led to more information that came out in regards to U.S. surveillance, even on some of its allies, which again, we're going to get to a little bit too. So when it came to a lot of these leaked documentations, clearly they existed, and clearly if the U.S. has a response like this, they have some level of legitimacy to them. And then, of course, this was never supposed to get out. Now, again, my whole belief on, leaked documentation is I really do feel like it's always great whenever we get a peek behind the curtain. Whenever you got people like Snowden, whenever you got individuals who are leaking U.S. surveillance or leaking really any country's surveillance or secret documentation, I get that there is a risk factor for active service people out there too, and I definitely do sympathize with that. But when it comes to the shady dealings, and when it comes to the back alley deals that happen with a lot of these governments and really risky groups around the world, getting a peek behind the curtain to me always has more of the costs sort of weighing less than the benefits. I always like to see anything that's going on behind the scenes, especially when it comes to leaked documentation. But of course, that's just my opinion on it, and again, I would love to hear what yours is. Now, as this was happening on the 5th of April, a Telegram group known as Donbass Devushka, which is a pro-Russian sort of like a Telegram group, was also sharing this same information. This is one of the earliest tier posts that we had seen. Now, one group known as Bellingcat that actually looked into it had found out that there were a couple Discord servers where these maps were being shared, this information. So, of course, one of them was Wow Mao's Discord. But, of course, it also came out to be that there were other Discord groups also involved into this situation. One of them being a Discord server known as the Minecraft Earth Map. Now, of course, you might be like, what does Minecraft have anything to do with it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this one channel known as the Map Showcase, where you're literally trying to show off Minecraft Earth maps, somebody over here is having a discussion, though you were trying to correct me there, sorry about that. Nah, I'm not oversensitive, Lamau. And in response to not being oversensitive, one of the users over here actually responds with those same highly classified Pentagon leaked maps that they probably shouldn't have. Now, of course, these were like a couple maps, and I think the actual number came out to be around 30, all the way up to 200 pieces of documentation being shared around. Is all of that completely authentic? We don't know yet. The Pentagon is actually still investigating this right now. So, of course, another one of those servers was Thug Shaker Central. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these were meme-tacular servers.
Spit it out.
Oh, you got an ass on you, all right. See, that's what he's talking about. You could do the rump shaker, huh? The thug shaker. Give me the thug shaker, dude. Shake your ass.
Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, there are no traces left of some of these servers outside from actual user testimony, simply because Discord is also involved into this. Discord is working right now with the government to actually clear up and figure out how bad these leaks actually are. So, of course, one of the actual users out of every sort of memer on 4chan and Discord and whatever was probably laughing at this guy. They didn't think too much of it. But remember when I mentioned no foreign, which is no foreign nationals? One of the actual users who was in these servers had looked at that and the big red flag sort of went up in their eyes. So according to the Washington Post here, one of the people that they talked to, where they said OG, which is the person that was leaking it, the hundreds more, and he said, followed on a regular basis for months. They were, he recalled, what appeared to be near verbatim transcripts of classified intelligence documents that OG indicated he had brought home from his job on a military base, which the member declined to identify. Now, remember when we looked at things, or we didn't look at it, but remember when the whole War Thunder leaks happened and there were private jet information being shared around or private military documentation? That is child's play compared to what this person was sharing from actual, a current war zone right now. While the member declined to identify, OG claimed he spent at least some of his day inside a secure facility that prohibited cell phones and other electronic devices, which could be used to document the secret information housed on government computer networks or spooling out from printers. He annotated some of the hand-typed documents. Basically, he, transcribed it. Nothing really crazy and massive. A member said translating arcane intel speak for the uninitiated, such as explaining that no foreign meant that information in the document was so sensitive, it must not be shared with foreign nationals. Now, there was some documentation in this that alleged the US government was spying on its, friends, which, again, not really that shocking. The US government spies on its friends. We've known this shit since Prism. OG told the group he toiled for hours writing up the classified documents to share with his companions in the Discord server he controlled. The gathering spot had been a pandemic refuge, particularly for teen gamers locked in their house and cut off from their real-world friends. He wanted to keep us in the loop, the member said, and seemed to think that the insider knowledge would offer the others protection from the troubled world around him. The transcribed documents OG posted traversed a range of sensitive subjects that only people who had undergone months-long background checks would be authorized to see. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the person involved into this appeared to be an IT guy, somebody that was sort of an IT individual handling cabling and sort of network maintenance, which, again, if you ever want to talk about who has the most clearance in facilities like this, it's not usually the highest ranking people. It's usually the janitors. So imagine this is a Janny that's been given clearance to make sure the network is up to snuff, the average IT guy. Now, of course, the IT guy needs special security clearance just so they can make sure the network works for everybody in the military or in that base. So, of course, if the Janny is involved in here, the Janny, while their rank isn't that crazy high up there, they unfortunately have access to a lot of information that, if transcribed, if sent out, could be very, very damaging. So people wondering just why this happened or how could this happen, there's a pretty reasonable explanation. Somebody, unfortunately low-ranking, but does have access to significant security clearances, could unfortunately do this. So according to Al Jazeera, who saw more of this alongside the Washington Post, they said, these are the documents appear to show in which countries are involved. So for Ukraine, if proven authentic, the leak suggests the US has been monitoring Ukrainian president's calls with defense and military officials by using signals intelligence. Russia, the documents would also reveal that the US had penetrated the Russian military forces and the Wagner Group, a mercenary organization, much more than previously understood. When it comes to the United Arab Emirates, one document appears to show that US spies had caught Russian intelligence officers boasting that they had convinced the oil-rich UAE to work against the US and UK intelligence agencies. And when it came to Egypt, one leaked document appeared to show that Egypt planned to supply Russia with rockets and munitions. And then, of course, South Korea, another document appears to provide details of alleged internal discussions amongst top aides to South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol that suggested the US applied pressure on Seoul to help supply the US with artillery shells. And last but not least, the US's biggest friend in the Middle East, Israel. One document, which appears to be a CIA intelligence update from the 1st of March, suggests Mossad was encouraging its officers to participate in protests against their government's plan to weaken the independence of the judiciary. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these organizations have declined all of this. They've declined any bullshit. And, of course, the U.S. government will continue to keep its head stuck in the sand. Now, of course, I'm not here to claim these things are true or false. Again, I'm not trying to make an enemy out of Uncle Sam. But I would not be surprised if Uncle Sam's peeking on his friends. And now, of course, it ended up coming out that, obviously, if you're going to be doing this, if you're ever going to leak these kind of documents, which you should never do, but let's say that you are hypothetically, you should have an escape plan, okay? And we're not talking about some Travis Scott song. We're talking about you better be out in Russia, you better be in China, you better be on the fucking moon. Because if you're still in the United States and you're committing activities like this, they will screw you. So, of course, according to the last 12 hours, the U.S. government has said that allegedly Massachusetts Air National Guard, where an individual known as Jack Texiero worked, in general intelligence wings throughout the Air Force support, which you might imagine Air Force intelligence requirements worldwide to support a wide variety of intelligence missions and requirements. The classified documents from the DoD were found online last month. How long they had been on the internet and the total number that they've been posted remains unclear. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, there is a full-blown investigation. In fact, what had happened was the FBI was spearheading this arrest. Literally today, the FBI took 21-year-old Jack Douglas Teixeira into custody without incident at a residence in North Dighton, Massachusetts, for his alleged involvements in leaking classified U.S. government and military documents. Now, of course, remember when in the beginning I told you this is the biggest fuck around and find out story? Yeah, what was effectively the goal here is what I wonder. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure it turns out that Jack was trying to impress some Discord buddies and 4chaners. And here's the thing. You might have a few people on the image boards and the channels going, wow, base dude, hilarious. But when your ass is getting caught and busted, it can be bad news. Now, from what I understand, this person was part of the U.S. military. I don't believe they were active duty, but I don't think that really necessarily matters. When it comes to situations like this, where it is treasonous, you are getting into espionage territory. So what Jack is finding out may not be as bad as what was initially speculated. Now, I heard some people say because of his military background that apparently he could have been court-martialed, but it seems like just this Friday, he's in federal court right now. And the charges include unauthorized retention and transmission of national defense information, and then the unauthorized removal of classified information and defense materials. So, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie here. Even in an actual, professional piece, they're mentioning an obscure invite-only Discord chat room called Thug Shaker Central, which he is believed to be the head of. Now, of course, I looked at the actual punishments over here, and it seems like what's the general idea is the US AG is actually putting the charges under the 1917 Espionage Act, which for the first charge could be a 10-year maximum sentence, and for the next charge could be a 5-year maximum sentence. So again, the term national defense information is only vaguely defined in the law. So, of course, it can broadly, cover anything that could put the U.S. into injury or put us at a disadvantage via other countries. So, again, generally the idea is you're looking at a maximum 15-year term. Now, again, I don't know if Jack is going to get the full 15 years. If they want to make an example out of him, sure. If they want to tack on a few extra charges, sure. But one thing is for sure, regardless of the time served, Jack's life is federally fucked in this case. And, again, is it worth impressing the Discord buddies over? Again, that's going to be something that Jack is going to have to mull back and forth when they're spending, their time in a jail cell. Unfortunately, for their case, being so young, they have absolutely put the rest of their life in jeopardy. Now, again, some people could speculate, what if they get a job out of this? Jack didn't have any crazy cybersecurity skills to be flexing and parlaying into a career with any 3-letter agency. All Jack was doing was taking photos and transcribing documents, which, again, a goddamn trained monkey could have figured out and done. In fact, that's something artificial intelligence might be doing in the next few months anyways. So Jack is unfortunately going to have to spend his time in a federal penitentiary and not look forward to a cushy 6-figure job from a federal government anytime soon. Maybe he could come out and speak on behalf of people who are trying to make dumb decisions on Discord, but this is one of those situations where, yeah, you try to impress some of your buddies, and unfortunately you really pissed off one of the scariest governments in the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how Pentagon state secrets just got leaked. And allegedly, it involves the person who leaked them. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to them. I don't even know if we'll ever hear about them again. But ladies and gentlemen, today's moral of the story is do not commit espionage just for a drop of clout. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it, do dislike it. I am out.